to my exes.
Acting by night. Keep going crazy.
Show off your skin, that shit is popping, girl. Body on 10, damn, you got it, girl. You gotta boss up. Getting them checks, hitting your base. Racks up. Oh, keep walking with confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus, Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
Let's talk about Diddy, y'all. And let's talk about how this Diddy debacle is not an isolated instance and is indicative of a bigger problem and illustrates exactly how whack men in general have no dick discipline. They have no self-restraint. They have no self-control. Most are actual deviants, and we'll talk about how many of them will amass all this wealth, fame, and fortune. Some even have families and will risk it all due to lack of impulse control and lack of sexual restraint. So before we get into Diddy, let's look at a few examples that illustrate this. I want to talk about Offset, who has so little dick discipline, even though he managed to marry way out of his league. Now he about to be in divorce court looking like Boo Boo the Fool because he lacks dick discipline.
Remember when Offset tweeted about being lucky to have Cardi B? Well, now it all makes sense. Sheetset was giving Cardi some public attention because he knew what was coming next. Cardi B pled guilty to hiring goons to attack her husband's mistress.
So Offset was allegedly caught out with his ex cheating on Cardi B. Now Offset and his alleged ex denied these allegations because they were caught together at the casino.
Looks like Offset is being accused of cheating on wife Cardi B once again, getting his mistress pregnant and forcing her to have a, since we can't say the A word here on YouTube, we will say pregnancy termination. Now,
so it looks like Offset is still out wilding in the streets, and it doesn't look like he is going to change anytime soon. He already has 5 kids from 4 different women, and that number is about to go up because the streets are saying that his side chick, Pre, is about to become baby mama number 5. Allegedly, she is pregnant at the same time as Cardi B, and they are allegedly going to have their babies at the same time.
Because you will fucking talk to a nigga and a motherfucker will play in your fucking face over and over and over and over and over again and still be like, watch what I'm about to do. Watch what I'm about to say. Yo, this motherfucker really likes to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. He likes to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. He knows. Yesterday, I could have been out. I could have been chilling. I could have been this and that. He knows I'm in my house. He knows that I'm chilling. He knows I'm not doing the most. And I've really been sparing you. You've been fucking feeling yourself, you ass nigga, because of your big ass album and shit. And you really been fucking doing me dirty after so many fucking years that I motherfucking helped your ass.
I apologize to you, Cardi. You know I embarrassed you. I made you look crazy. Doing things I ain't had no business. I was partaking in activity that I shouldn't have been taking in. And I apologize, you know what I'm saying, breaking your heart, breaking our promise, breaking God's promise, and being a selfish, messed up husband, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Offset is a slouch. He's a bread loser, but he somehow lucked up and convinced Cardi B, the multi-millionaire, Grammy award-winning rapper, the female rapper with the most #1 singles, the female rapper with the most certified diamond singles, the one with the most songs with 1 billion streams on Spotify. He somehow managed to trick her into marrying him. Ended up cheating on her over and over and over again, humiliating her publicly, even messed with a bum stripper and got her involved in legal trouble after she confronted her. And did y'all know this Negro had 5 kids with 3 different women on top of all that? And allegedly, while Cardi was pregnant with this most recent child she just gave birth to, he had another woman pregnant at the same time as well. I had no idea he had so many baby mamas. We just got done talking about Dick Cannon last week and Cam No Condom Newton, who did the same thing. Just effing anything with a hole, creating multiple fatherless families and broken homes. Offset is even worse because he's a bread loser. Cardi B is the income earner in this situation. I mean, we know the Migos are no longer a thing, and whatever Offset has done as a solo artist must have went triple aluminum foil, because besides random IG clips here and there of him on stage, I've never heard a thing. I can't recall a song that he's had. I'll take it a step further here. I say a large reason why his career is suffering and has flopped is because he has no dick discipline. He refuses to honor his wife. And I'm no longer a Christian, but I truly do believe he who finds a wife finds a good thing, and those who honor their wives flourish and their households are blessed, because we know whatever you give a woman, she'll multiply. They even tell you in the corporate world that married men are more respected and tend to be at the top of the corporate ladders and are more successful. This is why most millionaires are married and most homeless men are not. Because behind every successful man is typically a good woman. Women make a house a home. They provide softness, support, and the balance needed to propel a man forward, to motivate him to become successful. Disrespect your wife, have no dick discipline, and watch that empire begin to crumble. Now Offset headlining at crab boils, barbecues, and bar mitzvahs. The Migos ain't been popping since the early 2010s, so I don't know what he gonna do, but we know if ninjas have nothing, they have the audacity. So even though his wife is the bigger star with the bigger platform and the bigger bank account, to be frank, because there is no self-restraint, no discipline, no impulse control, he is losing it all. Cardi has said publicly that she plans to divorce him. We'll see if she really goes through with this, because she has said that before. But my point is, niggas will risk it all, jeopardize their money, their families, their wives, their millions, sometimes even their freedom, like a Diddy situation, all because they have no discipline and lack self-control.
In the name of all that is holy, would you look at Karen Smith's gym clothes?
Of course, all the plastics are in the same gym class. Where are the plastics?
They're teen royalty. If North Shore was Us Weekly, they would always be on the cover.
Rerun. Hey, 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 I'm what's happening.
That one right there is Ayanna Van Zant. She's one of the dumbest people you'll ever meet. I sat next to her in law school last year, and she told me I should date our bus driver. And that funny looking one over there, that's Tyler Perry. She expects women to cape and coddle broke men because she was one and we turned her into a billionaire. She also tells successful black women to date who can pay the light bill because she secretly does the same thing. And evil takes a human form in Nicki Minaj. She's male-identified and male-worshipping, so hates other women who look like her.
Is it the thanks that I get for putting you bitches on?
She hates black women so much, she even defends predators and married ones. She even victim blames and makes fun of DV survivors.
I call her Bigfoot. The bitch fell off. I said, get up on your good foot. Lied on her dead mama. Lied on her dead mama. Lied on her dead mama.
Are you tired of constantly being bullied by mules and mean girls? Are you sick of being told to lessen your standards and to ride or die? Are you exhausted from tolerating anything just to say you got a man? Then you're in the right place. Join the Lexus Exodus Patreon private community to meet like-minded, divested women who prioritize self first. In my Patreon, you will participate in exclusive lives, get access to exclusive content, get access to a private community of other divested women, and much, much more. Join us by visiting patreon.com/LexusExodus. See you soon. Jay-Z is guilty of this as well. We know he has had several secret children, allegedly.
So Rymir Satterthwaite, who has been claiming to be Hova's son for decades, has taken his case to the Supreme Court. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail published on Monday, May 8th, he claims that he wants nothing more from Jay-Z than to see what he called justice served. Rymir also claimed that part of his demand includes unsealing the court documents so he can pursue the case against Jay-Z successively. This is not going to be over until justice is served.
Well, moving on, it looks like Jay-Z might have some explaining to do, y'all. Check this out. So apparently a 28-year-old Maryland woman by the name of Letitia Macer is claiming to be Hov's, check this out, y'all, long-lost daughter. Wow.
Okay. This story was published in 2011. Jay-Z has a secret 9-year-old love child. Wife Beyonce with their first child is craving weird food. It has now been revealed that rapper Jay-Z has already fathered a secret love child with a Trinidad model. It has been claimed that Jay-Z allegedly fathered a secret love child with Trinidad model Chanel Scott. According to Star Magazine, the 41-year-old rapper fathered a young boy 9 years ago with the model and is still in contact with her, also giving her child support.
Cheated with several women while he was with Beyonce, even cheated with artist Blue Cantrell, and the streets are saying he was so enamored by this woman, that's why he named their daughter Blue.
Even though Jay-Z was in a relationship with Beyonce, a lot of people assumed there was something going on between him and Blue.
I have a big crush on him now. I'll tell you that much. Still have a crush on him now. No, I didn't. No, I'm really selective about it. What? Really. I really like him though. And I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him though.
I'm just saying, you're in New York.
Yeah, okay. And what?
If you ran into him and everything was right, would you make that play?
I wouldn't turn it down. Let's just put it that way.
Cheated on Beyonce so much so, she was ready to leave his ass and made a whole album publicly airing him out.
It's Jay-Z's new album, and the title track appears to be an apology to his wife Beyonce for cheating.
I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born, see through a woman's eyes, took for these natural twins to believe in miracles.
Beyonce's Lemonade album was thought to address her husband's reported infidelity.
And lacks so much D-discipline, he regularly messed with underage girls as well.
There have always been allegations and people from back in the day saying that Jay-Z hooked up with Foxy when she was just 15. Wendy said it.
This was allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right, I'll say alleged, but we know. Yeah, she hit it before Beyonce. Allegedly.
And Nas also put it in his song Ether, where he said, Foxy got you hot because you kept your face in her Pussy. What you think, you getting girls now because of your looks? Other than that, there were also reports saying that Jay was also funding Foxy's shopping trips and paying for her hair and nail salons while she was still in high school. In fact, people who went to school with Foxy say that Jay-Z used to pick her up when she went to school, and according to them, Biggie used to pick her up too, but they were legit friends. But everybody knew her and Jay were together. So there's also this wild rumor that there's even tape out there of Jay and Foxy getting down and dirty with Jamie Foxx. And Jay-Z made Foxy sign multiple gag orders after she, Jamie, and Jay engaged in a threesome. Coincidentally, not long after the incident, the tape was ironically robbed from her home. And other than the allegation that they engaged in a threesome, there were also rumors that Jay-Z even gave Foxy an STD. Something else that proved that Jay was definitely hooking up with young Foxy was the things he made her say in her songs. Foxy and Jay collaborated on numerous occasions throughout the 90s, and Jay actually wrote several songs on Foxy's debut album. Now, tell me why this grown man had a 15-year-old recording things like Ain't No N the one I got, No One Can F You Better, Sleeps Around But He Gives Me a Lot, Keeps You in Diamonds and Leathers, Friends Tell Me I Should Leave You Alone, Tell Them Freaks to Find a Man of Their Own. Jay-Z also literally wrote that he was running after Foxy Brown in her song Il Na Na. He did not rap in the song, but he is the one who wrote this part of the song. First the mansion, then the yacht sound proper. Straight cash got bloodhounds, trying to hunt down the brown fox. Here's the thing though, when Jay-Z was apparently done with Foxy, he not only dumped her, but he also made sure that she would not succeed in the music industry by using his influence to blacklist her. But other than Foxy, there was also Aaliyah, who, as many people have always suspected, her death has Jay-Z written all over it.
I had forgotten that about what happened to Aaliyah.
So when it comes to Aaliyah, the person who got most of the heat for taking advantage of her when she was literally still a child was R. Kelly, who lured Aaliyah into a very controversial and highly inappropriate relationship before forging documents to marry her when she was still underage, and even got her pregnant. But R. Kelly wasn't the only one taking advantage of Aaliyah, because Jay was also hooking up with her, allegedly.
Saw Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They Aaliyah. They shared so much in common.
But remember, Nas also suggested that Jay-Z knew what R. Kelly was doing with young girls, especially Aaliyah. And he told Wendy Williams during an interview when a tape of R. Kelly with an underage girl leaked, "I could have showed the R. Kelly video that everybody's talking about and made fun of it and show pictures of Jay hanging out. You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come into the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You gonna tell me he didn't see no 14-year-old girl come into the vicinity?" I mean, it was also public knowledge that at some point in Aaliyah's career that Jay-Z wanted to marry her. Unfortunately, at the time when Jay wanted to date Aaliyah, she had already chosen to be with his friend Dame Dash, who, by the way, Jay-Z destroyed.
I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. Like, I don't give if you wanted to get away from your homie, if you wanted to get away from your partner, but to do it the way he did it, it's malicious.
Apparently, Dame Dash wasn't the only one who suffered the consequences, because there have also always been allegations that Jay-Z was directly involved in Aaliyah's death. And when he couldn't end up with Aaliyah, Jay-Z picked his next victim, Beyonce. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce tried to convince the public that they started dating when Beyonce was 19, but people from back in the day say that they were together when Beyonce was much younger. Somehow, Jay-Z managed to make sure that Beyonce stayed with him and even got married to him. Girl, first R. Kelly, then Diddy, and I wonder who would be next. But one thing that a lot of people say is that these men are responsible for destroying a lot of women's lives after targeting them, subjecting them to SA, and then dumping them. And I don't know if they will ever be held fully accountable, but I would love to know your thoughts on how they targeted and SA'd the teenager.
Child, I'm clutching my pearls, y'all. This is vintage tea, and my fibers have been gasted. This is a lot. I remember this. I grew up during this time. I was coming of age during this time in the 90s and early 2000s. This is a lot. So listen, what did I say? No dick discipline. What did Cat Williams call them? Big dick deviants or big dick demons or something. There is no impulse control, no self-control, no actual discipline. Just slanging peen to anything with the hoe, regardless of Jay's marital status, regardless of the fact that he's married to one of the most successful and beautiful women on earth, regardless of fame, family, and wealth and the empire he's amassed and is risking, Jay-Z is still a nigga. And regardless of whether it's even legal or not, even if it's with little girl, he gonna get his D wet because ninjas lack dick discipline. So it wasn't enough that this nigga was a womanizer. Big nose, camel-faced ass. Got the baddest chick in the game. Had the nerve to still cheat on Beyonce. And we know this was not an isolated thing. Jay's a serial cheater. And I don't got to say allegedly in this instance because Beyonce made a whole damn album about it. Because he out here fucking on Becky with the good hair, effing on Blue Cantrell, then had the nerve to name Beyonce's daughter Blue. Cheated so bad, Solange had to karate chop his ass on the elevator. He even had kids on Queen Bey, y'all. A buttload of bastard babies like they like to do. On top of all that, he did all this after grooming and trapping that lady when she was just a child. She was only 16 and he was damn near 30 when they met. So he's a PDF file as well. Met Beyonce when she was a teenager and exploited her youth, lack of experience and innocence. Also Foxy too when she was a child and allegedly was targeting Aaliyah as well. And we know the other rapist just happened to get to Aaliyah first, so he wasn't able to trap her out as well. But here's my thing. Those are just the famous little girls that we do know about. Please believe if he was able to pull Beyonce, Foxy Brown, and Aaliyah, he definitely was able to snag little hood girls as well. And I'm sure he was able to victimize and prey on pretty but poor and impressionable little girls who did not have protection, who were easily impressed by a few dollars as well. He likely has a laundry list of little girls he preyed on back then. This is just disgusting. So yeah, we can add him to the CVS receipt long list of problematic predatory ninjas like R. Kelly and like Diddy and like the rest of them. No discipline whatsoever, jeopardizing their marriages, their money, their empires over some poom poom. Listen, Jay-Z is next, y'all. Jay-Z is the next big fish to go down right behind Diddy. All the astrologers are saying it. The psychics are saying this as well. All the spiritual girlies are saying this. If you don't believe in that and think that that's witchcraft, let's just call it prophecy. Then because even the Christians are prophesying this and the Christian content creators are predicting his downfall. And we know Beyonce was young and dumb when they first met decades ago. She's not now. And I firmly believe this is why she's been distancing herself from him. And while there have been divorce rumors swirling around, it's because the Roman Empire is about to fall. It's crumbling. It's about to go down. And again, like I said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Those who honor their wives tend to prosper personally, professionally, and financially. Those who don't are cursed. Come here, R. Kelly. Cheating on your wife, victimizing all them girls, preying on those women. Come here, Russell Simmons. Come here, Bill Cosby. Look where they at. Come here, Kobe Bryant. And people might get mad at that, but look, you out here publicly embarrassing your wife, raping women. Look where he at now. And listen, don't get mad at me, because again, there's a reason the overwhelming majority of the homeless male population is unmarried. Meanwhile, the overwhelming amount of male millionaires are. That is a hill I'm willing to die on. Men who have integrity and are faithful and pour into their wives and honor their spouses and their families receive abundance and are blessed. And these nignogs don't do that, and that's why they experience the outcomes that they do. They all lack big discipline. They all are actually deviant. They all are big demons, like Kat said. So Jay-Z is next. It's the age of Aquarius. It's all being revealed. It's all about to go down. Rapper T.I. is guilty of this as well. And y'all might have forgot, but I didn't.
T.I.'s decorated music career includes a slew of chart-topping hits, Grammy Awards, and multiple TV shows. But a series of disturbing assault allegations against the Atlanta rapper threatened to topple the empire they've built.
We are dead set on seeking justice.
New York attorney Tyrone Blackburn represents 9 anonymous women who say the Harrises drugged, assaulted, and in some cases kidnapped them. And while each encounter is different, a troubling alleged pattern emerges.
T.I. comes along with his touching, prodding, offering of different narcotics, whether it's Molly, ecstasy, cocaine.
Blackburn says many of his clients then passed out and woke up naked with sore genitals. One victim, as young as 17 years old, alleges she was working for the Harrises as an intern in 2006 when they met her on a tour bus.
She's laying naked on the bed next to 2 other interns.
The accusations against T.I. and Tamika Harris span 15 years in Georgia and California, with the most recent incident allegedly taking place in 2018, according to Blackburn. Beyond the sexual assault allegations, 3 of Blackburn's clients, 2 women and 1 man, say T.I. or his associates threatened them with violence. And Los Angeles attorney Lisa Bloom says she represents 2 women who endured misconduct at the hands of T.I., Tamika, or both.
The egregious allegations that's been tossed around about me and my wife.
T.I. denied all of the allegations on Instagram.
Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. We ain't never made nobody do anything, and we ain't never trafficked anything. Well, really trafficked anything.
T.I. and Tamika's lawyer released this statement to NBC News. Quote, "The Harrises continue to deny in the strongest possible terms these groundless and unjustified allegations. We fully expect if the claims are thoroughly and fairly investigated, no charges will be brought."
How are you doing?
An early sign of fallout for the couple. VH1 halted production of their reality show, T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, back in February, given, quote, the serious nature of the allegations. Blackburn says he's asked 2 federal agencies and the Georgia Attorney General's office to consider charges against the Harrises.
These women may have consented to come to the VIP section, but once you've introduced narcotics into their system and you've taken away their ability to make a sound decision, they can no longer consent.
The Georgia AG told NBC News they take the allegations, quote, very seriously. The U.S. Attorney's Office for Northern Georgia, however, declined to comment. As for the Harrises' alleged victims, Blackburn says many of his clients' lives are ruined and that severe depression, drug addiction, and suicidal thoughts continue to haunt them.
Nasty-eyed ninja. Okay, Diddy Jr. And we're going to get to Diddy next, but you're going to see a recurrent theme here of coercion, these ninjas drugging women, trafficking, having orgies and ish, also underage girls. freaky ass ninja T.I. a 69 god. Just disgusting and perverse. He has no dick discipline. Despite being married and having a wife who held him down for decades, dated him when he was broke because she was a bigger star, held him down, even took criminal charges for him. We know she be swinging from the chandelier and even participating in these nasty ass threesomes, doing backflips in the bedroom for him just to keep him at home. That's still not enough. He's still a notorious cheater and has even experienced multiple SA allegations and trafficking allegations, as he's willing to risk ruining his family, losing his wife and his wealth, all because he has no dick discipline. So speaking of Diddy Jr., let's get to the reason y'all are here. Let's talk about Diddy, who was recently arrested by the feds due to X trafficking.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is in custody this morning after being detained overnight by federal authorities in New York. According to a person familiar with the situation, Combs was caught off guard by his arrest in the lobby of the Park Hyatt Hotel, where he'd been living for several weeks. The arresting charges are part of a sealed indictment that authorities say will likely be released later this morning. But it comes 6 months after law enforcement sources told NBC that federal agents searched Combs' properties in Miami and Los Angeles, finding guns and seizing computers and cell phones. Those raids carried out on search warrants out of New York into allegations of trafficking, according to a source familiar with the matter. Since November 2023, Combs has also been hit with multiple civil lawsuits with similar allegations, including assault, trafficking, and illegal distribution of guns and drugs. Combs' attorney released a statement late Monday, calling him an innocent man with nothing to hide, writing, "He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal," adding, "Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts."
Just got out of federal court for the Diddy case, and it is not looking good for the media mogul. Today in court, a Manhattan judge denied bail, pointing to the obvious power imbalances that are at play here, saying that it might lead to potential witnesses feeling intimidated. Okay, so at the center of the prosecution's case, as laid out in that 14-page indictment, are these freak-offs that, according to the indictment, were these elaborately produced performances that were arranged, directed, masturbated to, and recorded by Combs. The indictment also details that ahead of these freak-offs, his staff would set up hotel rooms with extra sheets, baby oil, lubricants. During the raid of his homes, part of the evidence recovered were 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Now, according to the indictment, these drug-fueled sex-offs would last days, with Combs and his victims needing IV drips because of the physical exertion and because of the drug use. They claim that shortly after that incident, where Diddy is seen on surveillance video assaulting Cassie at an Intercontinental Hotel back in 2016, that he went and bribed security to make sure he got that footage. To further make the case that he has a history of obstructing justice and intimidating witnesses, they talk about the Don Richard lawsuit. That lawsuit was filed on September 10th. 4 days later, on September 14th, Kalina Harper, who was also in Dirty Money with Don, came out and said, "Whatever was detailed in that lawsuit isn't my personal experience." Now, why is this important? Because prosecutors say that in those 4 days between the lawsuit and her statement, Diddy called her 128 times and texted her 58 times, and then after her statement, hasn't contacted her since. Now let's talk about what the defense laid out to convince the judge to grant him bail. They say that there was no trafficking, there was no coercion, that this was a loving relationship between two consensual adults that lasted a decade. His defense attorney says that what Diddy is guilty of is cheating on Cassie just like she cheated on him, and they had a mutually toxic relationship. Let's quickly talk about that surveillance video that was taken at the Intercontinental Hotel where you see Diddy physically assaulting Cassie. Now, prosecutors say that that happened after a freak off when Cassie was trying to get away. Defense has a whole different story. They say that Cassie woke Diddy up by hitting him over the head with a phone when she found out that he had other girlfriends he was messing with, and then she started packing up the only clothes that he had into those bags that she's seen carrying and tried to get away, which they say explains why he only ran out of the room with a towel on. They claim that this was a mutually toxic relationship and that Cassie was stepping out on Diddy too, and it only ended after she fell in love with the personal trainer that Diddy got for her. The defense attorney then insinuated that maybe Cassie wasn't happy at home after having 2 kids with the trainer, and that I gotta look at my notes for this one, and that she realized that she had things pretty good with Diddy because she had her lawyer contact his lawyer and said that she was writing a book and that he could buy the rights to that book for $30 million. Diddy's attorney goes on to say that he refused, that she got herself another lawyer that convinced her to file that November lawsuit and call what happened consensually trafficking so that she can eventually get him to settle, which he did. for a large amount. They wouldn't say how much. I hope you're keeping up. His attorney also listed all the preemptive steps that Diddy took in order to gain the court's trust so that he could be granted bail, including handing over his passport to his attorneys, paying off a $50 million home, trying to sell his jet, which he was unsuccessful in, as well as voluntarily letting his attorneys know so that they could let the government know anytime he traveled domestically. Lastly, I want to point out that prosecutors cited the R. Kelly case, the Jeffrey Epstein case, and the Keith Raniere case as they argued why Diddy should be denied bail, given that he's a flight risk. And now Diddy will remain in federal detention until his next court date.
I love y'all. So I went through Diddy's 14-page indictment. So let's read some of the major callouts here verbatim. So it says that he's been accused of creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, ex-trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Combs' team would intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. He then would use force to cause victims to engage in extended X acts with male commercial X workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs, which were elaborate and produced performances that he arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasting days, and often involving multiple ex-workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of drugs to victims, in part to keep them compliant. Sometimes unbeknownst to the victims, he also kept videos that he filmed of the victims engaging in these acts with commercial ex-workers and would blackmail them to coerce them after. Afterwards, the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. His team facilitated these freak-offs by booking hotel rooms, stocking the hotel rooms in advance, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the rooms after the freak-offs to mitigate any damage, arrange for travel for victims and commercial ex-workers, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the ex-workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. During searches of Combs' residence, law enforcement found narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants. They also found firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. He subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to make them engage in freak-offs. Also promised career opportunity, would withhold financial support, and by coercive means would use tracking devices to track their whereabouts, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with drugs. He would often hit, kick, throw objects at, and drag victims, at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. And Combs would also use sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during these events as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victim. When victims would threaten to tell authorities, Combs and members of his team engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnapping and arson. Combs also is guilty of being a freaky ass nigga and a 69 god. He also was a big dick deviant. y'all know I threw in that last part as a little razzle dazzle. But listen, it's true. I can't. No dick discipline. No actual restraint. No impulse control. So here, this man has built a $1 billion damn empire, brick by brick, since the 90s. He was a music mogul. Owned his own successful clothing brand at one point. Also was into television with Revolt, heavily involved with Ciroc, and had his own liquor brand as well. Built this from the ground up. And now, all the fame, wealth, millions, his legacy and his empire is all vanishing in a matter of seconds simply because he has no dick discipline. Just gone like that. So now his children are being humiliated and embarrassed. The mother of his children are being humiliated and embarrassed. Who knows financially how they're going to survive? Because after all these legal fees and after him paying restitution to all these victims, I don't think there's going to be much. Just gone. Empire just gone like that. This shit is sick. Had a whole damn orchestrated enterprise solely devoted to him getting his rocks off, y'all. Can y'all believe that? Like, got massive amounts of drugs and narcotics on deck, weapons, ex-workers on payroll, and staff on call to strong arm you and beat your ass if you get out of line. Nasty motherfucker. They said they found 1,000 bottles of lube, y'all. 1,000. Who the hell need 1,000 bottles of lube? They talking about it's like a CVS. Even CVS ain't got that many bottles of lube. Like I said in the Discord chat, I don't own 1,000 of anything inside my home. Asshole just wore the F out. That ish look like chewed up bubble gum at this point. Diddy walking around in diapers because he want to be a damn dick demon. Like, how much X do you need, dude? You damn near 50, nigga. You not tired yet? But there's no age limit. Regardless of wealth, regardless of status, regardless of age, regardless of marital status, these niggas have no dick discipline. They act like goddamn animals. And they have no self-control. Just impulsive, just carnal. Y'all ever see those clips going viral of little kids being at the zoo and the gorillas and monkeys just start going at it? That's how these niggas are, just animalistic and carnal and nasty and perverse. Just like we said about Dick Cannon and Cam Newton. The truth is, if these dudes were born a few centuries ago, they be known as plantation buck and breeders. Running around like a damn dog in heat. Just perverse and predatory, a damn demon. Facing 10 years in prison for transportation and prostitution. He's facing 15 years in prison for another charge for trafficking. And then for a separate charge is facing life in prison due to racketeering. Simply because he has no self-control, no impulse control, and lacks sexual discipline. This is just the tip of the iceberg for the hip-hop industry and for Diddy. This is going to turn the hip-hop industry on its head because all of these niggas into this perverse, sick, and sadistic shit. So it's only a matter of time before many others are exposed. Child, I can't. So what are y'all's thoughts about all this? About why these dudes amass all this wealth and fortune just to lose it all over some poom-poom? What are y'all's thoughts about the fact that Diddy is being charged with all this and is still being detained and denied bail? Do you think he will beat these charges? Do you think victims will finally receive justice and will put the final nail in this dick demon's coffin? You also know that many other celebrities and artists participated in this shit and may be involved and indicted as well. Who else do you think may be implicated in all this? Who else in general in the industry has been problematic and is next? Please chime in down below. I'm so curious to hear y'all's thoughts. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Even if you think I should, bitch, nigga, I don't give.
Fellas, if y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.
you.